Hey everybody, how are you today? It's the Annie and Mindy show, and here I am, AM my time, PM Annie's time. Welcome. Annie, how you doing today?
Hey, I am. My body is not too good, but my emotional and mental state is fabulous. I can't really talk. I'm sore. My nose is running, and it just is. But other than that, there's nothing else happening inside. I'm still
Yeah.
good. My body just decided to say, "You have to stop."
Wow. That
Yeah.
happens. That happens to all of us. That happens to all of us. And I'm glad you
Absolutely.
decided to do the call anyway, the podcast anyway. What came up with that? What was your thought when you said, "Okay, I woke up sick, I don't feel good, but I'm going to do it anyway"?
Because our podcast is about life and all aspects of life. As parents, as partners, as family members, and as business owners. So it's very important to see and to talk about our own personal experiences when we are sick. What do we do? Because the timetable is busy, you're fully booked out, and then you wake up sick. So clearly there's a message that comes from somewhere, universe, God, the source, whatever you want to call it, that is telling you, okay, you need to actually slow down, right? So I kind of sat there going, okay, I don't want to let the podcast down.
Yeah.
I'm really loving this, that what we're doing. And I've been loving people liking our page on Facebook, and people are listening. So there's a lot of, and I looked at who actually liked some of our podcasts, and these are people who do what we do. They're entrepreneurs, or they're solopreneurs, or they have they have families, so people are interested. So I thought, okay, I'm okay. It's not like it's the end of the world. You're gonna be in bed with Annie today.
I always wanted to be in bed with Annie.
There you go. So I think many other people would like that too. So I just thought, you know what? I can handle half an hour. After that, I can just go back to sleep and sleep it off. And I'm armed with my vitaminas, tissues. So I'm taking care. But I actually wanted, and that's why I sent you the message. I thought, okay, I might be sneezing and coughing, but it is important for people to know, what is it that I do when I get sick? How do I reshuffle my day, and what mental state do I get myself into to get through it? How do I speak to my clients? What do I say to them? Because they will see that I'm not well.
Yeah.
And yes, and then clearly I'm sure that you've been sick too. So it would be great to share some of your experiences, and what did you do when you were sick. So I think it's important that, the first reaction is, oh my God, I'm sick. I got to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to let people down. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And this is about, we care about everybody else, but our body is telling us to start loving ourselves first. So, yeah. And I had a very productive day. I just did it very quickly so then I could rest,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, and that's why I thought, let's talk about it. And I even thought about maybe sharing with people, you know, what do I do? Everybody gives you, have honey and have tea and do this and do that and do that. Well, nobody's coming to my door with a pot of soup. I'm not in a position to get up and start boiling chicken and doing carrots and all of that, right? And I've got a beautiful son who makes me cups of tea and warms up food. But then I actually have some vitamins that I take, which 3 times now has helped me to overcome this flu-y thing very, very quickly. So I thought I might as well share it with people, because sometimes people are looking for things and they don't know what they're looking for.
Yeah. So what do you use?
Um, I use, there's a company called Youngevity. So I use this thing called tangerine, right? So this one has, so the thing is that in our foods this day and age, we actually don't have the minerals and vitamins, and that is a reality, because it takes 7 years for the soil to regenerate its own minerals. And with the demand in our world, like there's 8 billion people in the world, with the demand, we don't have enough land to regenerate. So therefore, you got to look at the next best thing. You can still eat well, but when I actually looked at how much greens I have to eat, I don't think I'd have the capacity to eat that much. So then, to my own shock and horror, because I went, no, I don't want to take anything. However, I've been getting very sore. For years, I've had sore bones because I'm getting older. Menopause kicks in and it changes your make. And I thought, okay, let me see what else I can do. And it just so happened one of my dearest friends joined this business. So she said, she talked to me about it. She looked amazing and she was bouncing off walls, and she's 2 years older than me. And I said, what are you taking? So she just showed me. So this is the antioxidants, probiotics, prebiotics, amino acids, blah, blah, blah. So she said, take double of this. So I normally take 1 scoop. So I take 2. And last time I was sick, in 2 days, I was fine. So all I did was take that. So, and I take a lot of water and I have my lippy thingy. So, and that's what I do, but it works. So, and it also, this stuff also worked with my bones. Like 3 years I've been in pain in my hips and my knee, and it's gone.
Wow,
so
amazing.
There's something like, this is the probiotics, but then there's one for bones, and then there's some fatty acids, like the fish oils and all that. And since I've been taking it, within weeks, I actually noticed a change, and I thought, good, okay, I'll just keep taking it.
Fantastic. If you're feeling great, if you're feeling better, it's really worth it.
What do you do? Like, say, when do you take any supplements?
I take superfoods. I take concentrations of superfoods like maca and chai leaves, and I do a lot of greens. So I have very recently, for the past year, I've had a green garden at home. I've been growing my own vegetables, so there's lots of greens. And so I make sure in our food, like if I have an omelet, I'll put in some Swiss chard and some spinach and roquette, and if I, with meat, with everything, I put in as much greens as I can. And like now I have here in front of me, I didn't have time to eat it, but I have a little piece of bread with pesto that I made from my garden. So as much greens as I can put into things, that's what I do. And the superfoods is what I have. So I don't necessarily take supplements, but but I take natural things. For example, I have this spice that I use that's a mixture of cinnamon, ginger, and turmeric, which are all very good for your bones, it's not so good for menopause because it creates heat inside your body, but it burns fat. I started taking it for burning fat, but the turmeric has a lot of great properties that help also your bones and your joints and whatever. So I do that. I do that kind of stuff. And I started it when I started preparing for my climb up Kilimanjaro. What did you ask? Did you ask something, Annie?
Okay, so I was just gonna say that kale. No, I didn't. We just had a bit of a lag, so it's kind of overlapped a bit. You there?
I'm here.
Yeah, we're having a bit of okay. So we just had a bit of a lag. Yeah, so kale is a superfood, but kale is actually not very good for women with menopause.
Really?
So I was eating kale at one point, and then I found out, Mac told me, he said, oh no, not for women with menopause. It's a great green, but not for women with menopause. I forgot why, but I don't have it.
Oh, good that you tell me that, because it's just the season to start planting for winter, and kale is a winter vegetable. So last year I had a lot of kale. We had our shakes in the morning, my Mac shake.
Yeah.
Which a Mac shake is one of our mentors. For those people listening who don't know Mac Newton, Mac Newton is one of both Annie and my mentors. We trained with him a few times. He's our mentor's mentor, Blair Singer's mentor. And Mac is a conditioning coach. I mean, he's into physical fitness. He has a gym. He's a black belt in Taekwondo, many times over, world champion. And he has something called a Mac shake. He's very into nutrition. And the Mac shake is a banana, half a pear, half an orange, with a cup of
No,
orange juice.
half an
Half an
apple,
apple, half
half
a
a liter
pear,
of orange juice.
a cup of orange juice, and a banana.
Half a liter of orange juice.
Half a liter of orange juice, 50 milligrams. That's a big shake.
500.
That's
500.
well, that's too much for me. That's too much of a big glass for me.
Well,
But
it gives you almost a liter, but you sip it. And what it does, it gives you the sugar intake for the day.
80% of it, which is great.
Wow,
you
80%.
know. And I would put in my mac shake the kale and my turmeric and my maca, and everything goes into my mac shake in the morning. So I started really super energized my day.
Well, you know, Linda, our friend Linda girl from Mackay in Queensland, in Australia, she actually does the mac shake, and then she puts in ginger and she puts in turmeric.
Yeah.
So she studies a lot about stuff. And when I used to do the mac shake, I used to put a scoop of this and a scoop of the osteo, and then I get a hit in the morning. It was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So it was good. And I have friends who actually run a juice bar, and they have this there, and their clients come in and they get one of those carrot, apple, whatever, and they get a hit of this. They say, can I have a scoop?
Well, nice.
Yeah. So it's good. So I don't mind it. But I mean, I eat broccoli. Broccoli is my superfood, and I eat it. I can eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Wow, that's great.
Chickpeas and onions, and it's just beautiful. So yeah. So so I thought let's look at, you know, when you're not well, what is it that you out there watching this, what is it that you do? How long do you go with pushing yourself until you drop?
Well, and I'll tell you, I think most people, at least I was in that place where that's what I used to do. You know, life goes on and I'm sick and there's no chance because I have to work, I have to take care of my kids and family, and I've got my own business. But today I'm more in a place that something that you said earlier really affects me. That I think that everything happens for a reason. You know, it's not a science, but that's just my belief. And you said also that when you get sick, it's like the universe, the creator, source, God, whatever you call it, is sending you a message. And I believe that as well. So if you're sending me a message, and sickness is something that stops you or slows you down, and I really heed that message and I try to stop to take care of it. Now, it wasn't always like this, but a few years ago, I have a business partner, Nomi, and Nomi also, when we started doing Quantum Leap, it was a big ascension for her. We were traveling a lot of, Quantum Leap is a program sponsored by Success Resources. For those of you who don't know, it's a T. Harv Eker program. And so when we started doing Quantum Leap, she got a flu, you know, something similar to what you have now. And we just kept on going. We just kept on going. And then she got a flu with a fever, you know, a few weeks later. And she kept on going and going and going. And it was a process of about 2.5 months where she was up and down, and the way she felt physically in her body. But we just kept on going. You know, we were learning lots of things. We were implementing it. We were traveling to seminars in the world. And she did not take heed of these little messages that the universe was sending her. And one day she went on a very nice hike with her husband, with a group of people, and she broke her ankle. She broke her ankle. And then she had no choice. It wasn't a matter of should I or should I not. She was 2 months in. She had at home to sit in a wheelchair because she couldn't move her leg, because she couldn't put any pressure at all on her leg. People had to help her. It was a big lesson for her, and also not in just slowing down, but in allowing people to help her, because she was always the one helping everybody else, you know, making lunches, dinners, taking care of her kids, taking care of her grandkids, working. And now the universe keeps on giving you lessons until you take heed.
Pretty much, and it needs to give you bigger and bigger lessons until you actually learn.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, 2013, I think it was, 2012, when I was married, we bought the dream house.
Nice.
It was after Quantum Leap, not after MMI, after Millionaire Mind Intensive. We had this mindset that we can do anything. So we went and we bought this house that it was, if we didn't do that event, there's no way I would have supported him going for this house, because it was a mansion, right? So we went to look at it just as a joke, because we used to like house hopping and just checking houses out and decoration, because it's what we like. So we walked in and that was it. We fell in love and we bought it.
Wow.
And then we went home and went, oh shit, we have to sell the house we were living in. Oh my God, what are we going to do? Oh my God, what if we don't sell it? Oh my God, mortgage. And I just said, you know what? It'll work itself out. Anyway, so we sold the little house, which was in another suburb, which was a quarter of the house we bought, for more than what we bought the house for.
Wow.
Right? So here we are, we're moving in. My former husband gets this big job. So everything was just really awesome. So he got this job that paid him almost double what he was earning before, except he's gone to work from 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock every night. We promised our son that he's going to remain in his old school, which was a few suburbs down, but it took an hour to drive there because there were 4 other schools in between. So more drop off. So I used to work at night in my other business at the time. So I would have to go to the other suburb, drop him off, then go to another suburb, pick up his mum in case I was working that night, then come back to my house and unpack. And then I had this older lady there, you know, my mother-in-law, who, bless her, you know, she really wanted to help. But she was, what now? What now? What now?
Oh,
what?
Gosh.
And I was like, and then I'd have to go back to the suburb, pick up my son and come back. So I was on a road 4 to 5 hours a day. And then I would have to get ready and drive an hour sometimes to my presentations.
Yeah.
Right? So I did that for about 6 months and I started to feel this pain. And then, of course, my former husband would come home. He would be exhausted. I want to talk to me. And he'd be like, he'd be dead.
Yeah.
You need to ask about my day.
Wow.
You know? So one day, and I started to feel this pain in my chest. So I went for 1 week with this barely breathing. I could barely breathe.
Wow.
And I was overweight. I was 20 kilos or 44 pounds overweight. And so I went to the doctor. She asked me some questions. She said, can you sit there? And she dials the ambulance. She said, we have a potential heart attack. Come now. I said, I'm fine. You know, so take me there. Take me to a hospital. And it was a massive, thankfully, it was a massive anxiety attack. So my body couldn't cope with the amount of things I was doing. And I said nothing to no one. All I did was have a go at my husband and have a go at my mother-in-law. So, and then feeling really guilty because I was yelling at them and I didn't like who I became when I was yelling at them.
Wow.
So that was a turning point, you know, being in hospital, hooked up with all sorts of things and, you know, blood and this and that and needles. And it was, and in that moment I said, that's it. I have to change the way I live my life. And I don't care what anybody says. So I took my son out of that school, put him in another school. They were very upset. I don't care. I'm the one that was doing all the running.
Yeah.
Right. And I started changing the way I was doing things because I had to give up something. So I decided to slow down my business because I wanted to be at home and support him because he was gone all day, every day. And you know, he was having great success at work. Right? Now, obviously, things change over the years after that, but it just is. The great thing is that we had our son's 18th birthday yesterday, and he, his mom, Julian, and I had the bestest day.
Wow, Mazal Tov. I did not know that. Wow, yeah. How exciting.
Yeah, so
grow up, it is amazing. They become adults. 18 is an adult. Oh my goodness.
But the best thing about it is that, you know, when couples break up, they can be very hateful towards each other, or they created an amazing human being together, and they will be parents for the rest of their life, whether the child is 18, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, for as long as we live. So how are you going to live? Are you going to live with the animosity, or accept the fact that, hey, we're still good friends, you know, and we want the best for each other, and we still really love each other.
Well,
But if we can't fulfill on, you know, the love language, one or the other, you know, then it just is. Sometimes people will polarize, and it's just is. But I was so grateful yesterday for that, you know, and our son is a very well-adjusted young man. So we worked hard at it together.
Yeah, I think that's really important. When I got also separated from my children's father, it was also a big question. You know, we separated, and how do we build a new relationship? So that's exactly what it was really important for me, to build a new relationship, a good relationship. I wouldn't say that he and I are friends. We are friendly for sure, and we both love our children, and I put our children out, and they're the priority for both of us. And we are a family, and we define ourselves as a family, not necessarily friends, but we are in communication a lot, not just for the children, but other things as well. And I help him when I can, and he helps me when I can. And I think that's really important. I think that's, maybe it's towards the end of our discussion today, but that's a discussion that needs to be had. Because when families do split up, and there are a lot, 35% of the population is divorced today, which is a big percentage. A lot of people do split up. And I think it's really important to build a new relationship with your ex-partner, and put your kids forward. I'm not saying sacrifice yourself, again, because you got out of them. There are some people who stay in a marriage for the kids, which I don't think that that's a great idea either. But if you're going to split up and build something new. You know, I have a client who she complains about her ex-husband a lot. And one of the things I say to her a lot is, remember, you divorced him. You know, you divorced him for a reason. There's a reason. So don't expect him, after you get divorced, to act in a certain way that you expected him to act when you were married and it didn't work. Why is it going to work when you're divorced? But if you step back and look at your relationship, say, okay, what kind of relationship do I want to have from here forward with my ex-husband, with the father of my children? Redefine it. You know, you don't have to go into the stereotypes of, oh, I'm pissed at him and he wasn't a good husband, so then punish him for the rest of your life. And therefore, by virtue of that, punishing your children. Because kids, you know, they need the security of a family. Today, a family can look very different from that traditional, you know, mom, dad, two kids. You know, a family today can be, you know, a mom and her husband, and a dad and his partner, and a grandparents, and it could be siblings from different mothers and fathers, and, you know, families are really different, and it depends on you, on how you are going to, you know, define that family, define those relationships.
You know, I asked my son a while ago, I said, would you like for me and dad to get together? And he looked at me, goes, are you out of your mind? What? I said, most kids want their parents to get back together. He goes, no. He goes, you guys are just fight all the time. He goes, I'm really happy. He goes, I'm happy I go home. He goes, I get something else, and then I get something else at dad's. He goes, and then we come together and we do stuff. So we actually do more stuff now than when we were married. Go figure. Yeah. Right? So, you know, we were throwing popcorn at the movies last night, and we were laughing our heads off, and Julian is in the middle. Yeah. Right? And we thought, look at that. So, you know, if you think back in a Stone Age, there were no marriages then. There were clans. And when the clan grew to 50, you know that book, not Turning Pro, Tribal Leadership. There's a book called Tribal Leadership, right? And it talks about how people get into tribes, right? Mm-hmm. So it's just saying that, back, if I remember well, because I read it a while ago, that back in the day when, when there were tribes and clans, once you reached 50, they had to split up because the clan was too big to protect, right?
Wow.
So the clan would split up, but then the women from one clan had to go and procreate in the other clan to build the clan.
Wow.
Now they could, if there was some, let's call it, attachment to one individual, they could possibly go back once they had the babies, right? So it's if you really think about it, it's interesting. So there was no such thing about you cheating on me and romance and all that kind of stuff, right?
Wow.
I mean, we evolved as human beings, and somebody decided to create rules around marriage. And, in the 14th century and 15th century, marriages were there to unite countries, to unite families, and everybody had lovers on the side because they purely got together for business.
Yeah.
Right? So somewhere along the line, right, then it became a romanticized thing.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I kind of like,
I like it too. I actually love being in love, right?
Yeah.
And then when it doesn't work out, you kind of go. So you remember in our first session, I said I met a boy.
Yeah.
Well, that's not happening anymore.
Ah.
Right? Yeah. The thing is, I had to go and think about, okay, so what is it that bothers me? And what bothered me is who I was when I was with that individual.
Ah.
Right? So he didn't do anything extraordinary for me to become this person. So what I got to do is actually connect to myself now and go, what was it that made me so bubbly and excited? I mean, I have to admit, it's absolutely wonderful when somebody pays attention to you, and somebody when gives you a kiss, steals a kiss, or puts their arm around you, you walk down the street and they hold your hand and you kind of go, oh, you just want to go skipping, right? So, but I had to think, who was I in that situation, right? And then what were the things that I started to observe? And I thought, do I want to settle in my life when I feel that my values are not being respected? So I stepped to the side. I made that decision. So I think this would be a very good subject to talk about values, about and relationships.
Yeah.
Because how do you get to this point of calm and self-assurance and certainty? Like both you and I have done a lot of personal development. So that doesn't mean we don't get hurt. Of course we do. We're human beings, right? But then we have a toolbox of processes that we can go to or support. I know how many times I talk with you, like when you coach me, sometimes I break down and you say a couple of things and I go, oh, okay. And that's it. Sometimes it's a word, it's a question, it can be anything. And so, people don't ask for help, and I think it would be great if they do, because they might be surprised.
Right.
At the end,
Absolutely. I think we all should ask for help all the time. All the time, ask for help. And that's actually a lesson that I had to learn as well. I'm strong, superwoman, have a business, raise my kids. I'm divorced, a single mom, from when my kids were babies. I could do everything. I don't need anybody. You can rely on me. Really, years and years and years and years. I'm surprised I did not get so sick, because it was years of just taking on a lot of responsibility and just being able to handle it all by myself. And then again, going back to Quantum Leap and the programs we did, the T. Harv Eker programs, Warrior Camp was my big lesson, where I really understood that if I wanted to be happy, and I wanted to have a good life, and I wanted to achieve big goals, and I wanted to be the best that I can be, I actually needed to do it with people, with a team, get help. That was my huge, big, unbelievable lesson from Warrior Camp. And because it's Warrior Camp, I came home and actually live it, because I had to live it there,
Yeah, and that's key, that whatever you learn, wherever you go, is you need to apply it in your life, because otherwise it's just a theory. and you come from a theory. So, and I would say that you are the same. We teach from experience. We don't just teach a theory that we have an experience, because the emotion that is attached to our experience, the joy of winning or the disappointment of losing, but then the joy of learning the lesson, turning it around. Today I was reading The Obstacle is the Way, and I read about Rockefeller, and he said the best thing he ever did was he was going through when he was an apprentice, and all the difficulties that he went through, he learned how to see the best in everything. So then when the depression came, when everybody was in chaos, he got extremely calm, and he started to look at what are the benefits. And that's how he became so wealthy and owned, I think, if I remember the number well, 95% of the oil fields.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't calculating, but he went into a very, very quiet and calm space when everybody else went noise around. And he was able to look at what is happening, what are the possibilities. So he looked at all the opportunities, and then he took the risk.
And took advantage of them.
And it always worked. And I find that after all this training that we've done, for the last, 10 years now, I can see how I'm getting very, very calm at points when I should be really flipping out, and I just go, so what's the upside of this? There's a lesson in bloody everything that is not good.
Everything.
So that's the beauty of this. So anyway, so I think we've gone over time, have we?
I think we're exactly at the time, 30 minutes.
Perfect.
Great place to stop.
Perfect.
So thank you. It was a great call today, great discussion. I'm going to put up on our, for those people who have not yet liked, signed up, following, we did create a page in Facebook, The Annie and Mindy Show. So please like us, please check in, please comment, please send in questions, responses, subjects you'd like to discuss, and we will really be happy to be in touch, to connect, and to bring those subjects up here in our discussions. So Annie, feel better. That's the first thing. Take care of yourself. Feel better. Rest up so that you can come back to work strong and continue contributing and doing what you do best.
Thank you. See you, everybody. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.